Live.
Great. Good evening, everybody, physically and virtually. My name is Scott Memhard. I'm the Ward 1 City Councilor and Chair of our Gloucester Budget and Finance Committee. It is Thursday, February 23rd. Gosh, it's flying by. And we're here at the Gloucester Harbor Master's office on Harbor Loop. And then people are also participating remotely via Zoom. Councilor Worthley had another commitment this evening at the Traffic Commission, and he will be joining us as soon as possible. With me is Councilor at Large Tony Gross and city staff, John Dunn, CFO, Greg Berga. Aren't you the mayor?
Right now, yeah.
Wow. Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
Kenny Costa, city auditor, and David Fields is our relatively new. Does it feel new still, David?
Still feels new,
Yeah.
but good.
Community Development Director, Gemma Wilkins.
Sustainability coordinator.
Sustainability Coordinator, which means you work through the Board of Health or
I work in community development.
Community Development. And Rosalie, do you want to introduce yourself too?
My name is Rosalina Castro. I work for the health department.
Have done for a little while.
Yep, 23 years.
We have our Clerk of Committee, Sherry White. We also have with us virtually Chelsea Goldstein Walsh. Chelsea, you're obviously at Pond Road. So what's your office? What's your?
I am, yes. I am here to support Rosalina Castro as well. I also work with her in the Gloucester Health Department, which I am sitting in right now.
Yes, you are. And who else do we have? I don't see the virtual attendees here, but
That's it, right? For attendees, we have
For city staff.
that's it.
second.
Dana Martin is here. I'm the environmental engineer with the engineering department.
Also Pam Toby is on the call.
Pam Toby, Constituent Services,
And Mark Cole is on the
and
call.
Mark Cole, DPW. Thank you, Dana. Okay, we're going to take things out of order on our posted agenda. And the first item up, actually item number 10, which is a memorandum from John Dunn, our CFO, and a 2023 SA 22 in the amount of $100,000. And this relates to our upcoming birthday party or ongoing birthday party. John,
Can I kick it off and I'll hand it over to John?
Yes.
So
are you in the light back there? Are you comfortable?
always in the light. Yes. Towards the light.
If you can see the halo.
Yes. I wouldn't go that far. You indicated it's for our birthday party. This is our 400th anniversary. We had committed early on, the Spathios administration had committed to helping out the 400th financially. So we have committed to at least $200,000. This is the first tranche. Our money, we've made it very clear, and the 400th committee understands, is for anything that's free and open to the public. You know, we can't have any of our funds go into something that's going to cost money for people to attend. And as you've seen so far, there've been some really cool events, a lot more planned in the coming months, right through the end of the year. So this is the first batch. The recommendation from John is to do it this way. So with that, I'll hand it over to him.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're just, the thought here is that we want to make sure, as the mayor said, that the funds are going to support, public, non-paying events. So what we decided to do is actually transfer these funds into an internal fund within the city so that we're able to kind of monitor the activity. So it seemed like the best way to meet the aims.
Sir Rose, any question?
No, it's pretty straightforward. You'll be coming back again, I guess. But it's understandable the city does need to make some form of contribution towards its own birthday. And I think that this is probably, considering what happened in previous centennials, I think they went far grander scheme of things, but we're a product of our time. So this is money well spent.
But the next batch may come from opera, but we'll let you know in a few months as we move along.
That's good. Excellent. And again, Councilor Worthley is not yet on our call, but he will be joining us. Well, I go ahead and make the motion to recommend that the Budget and Finance Committee recommend to the City Council that we approve supplemental appropriation 2023 SA number 22 in the amount of $100,000 from the general fund, undesignated fund balance. Sticky paper. Not money. Free cash to our Gloucester 400 celebration / other special revenue fund, fund number 3382. And this is for the purpose of making funds available to the Gloucester 400th committee, and I so move.
Second.
Is there any further discussion or questions? Concerns? No. Since Councilor Worley's not yet present, we can go ahead with a verbal vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Okay, the next item that we're going to take up with us, and this is one that Councilor Worley hopes to get here in time to have some input on as well. Is item number 13. And it's our memorandum from the Chief Financial Officer, John Dunn, regarding the Gloucester Contributory Retirement System Cost of Living Adjustment, or COLA. And John, the floor is yours again.
As they can, this is something that has come up in special legislation that allows the increase from 3% to 5% on cost of living. The cost of living applies to the first $14,000 of retirement benefits. And it's a one-time only issue. The Gloucester Retirement Board voted in favor of recommending this to the mayor. Kenny, do you have any comment on the board vote? Or?
Yeah, so we voted this in December. We made it quite clear
We
that
being the Gloucester Retirement
Gloucester
Board.
Retirement Board, I'm a member of the Gloucester Retirement Board, 5-member board. We did vote in favor of it in December. We did bring in the actuary to come and present to us the impact to the pension liability. We felt very comfortable that pension liability, there's no effect in the pension payment until the end. And then also as well, we know that the state retirees, the teachers, and then also just state retirees working in government, they also have received this one-time 2%, and then also other communities as well. I believe Salem, and I think Lynn is also supporting it as well. And I think Social Security, I believe it's about 8% that they're providing for a COLA adjustment this year. So we just felt with inflation, we just felt like it was a good thing for our retirees. So we did vote in favor of it.
And as you studied it, what is the fiscal impact typically for a average retiree in the city of Gloucester?
So it's a $280 increase per retiree up to. So it's based off the COLA base of $14,000.
Right. At 2%.
Right, so anybody getting a pension benefit of 14,000 or more will see an extra 280,000 or 280,000.
Yeah.
That would
Everybody
make
wishes that, sorry.
some people would wish for that.
And then the liability would go
The
sky high.
city would have a adverse impact.
And I'm retiring tomorrow.
You may be joined by a
bunch of other.
throng in Exodus.
So as Kenny mentioned, they did have the Siegel actuaries come in to take a look, determine what the impact might be. It's going to be all the way out into 2034. So that is going to increase that assessment by $2,809,970. But again, that payment would then increase to 2034 payment to 6 million, round number 6.65 million. However, the 2033 payment is 24 million. So it did seem like a reasonable thing to do from a fiscal point of view, in that the pension, the very large pension assessment runs off in 2033, and we have this little little bump in 2034, but it doesn't seem to be too big.
And this is what we talked about at our last budget and finance meeting, the special budget and finance meeting about the pension windfall.
Yeah.
So at that time in 2034, as you see there, that's when, would be recommended to make a larger contribution to OPEB. So I just think it's a great opportunity for you to see, as far as connecting the dots. Between
Tony?
No, I think, I know the retirement board is pretty conservative, so for them to recommend this is good enough for me. It says that, the increase now goes from $420 to $700 per retiree, so that'll be helpful, real money, so that's it. I have no questions.
Okay. Councillor Worthley, if he wasn't able to be physically present for the meeting right now, had asked me to read into the record some of his observations about this. And as you may know, Jeff does financial planning for a living, and he wants to point out that typically in that industry, they use an inflation projection of 3 to 5%, which is in the range that we just discussed. Last year, as we also noted, inflation was at 8.7%. People who have earned Social Security benefits have had their cost of living adjustments of 8.7%. City employees are only allowed a total of 2% more than the 3% the retirement board authorized last year or late last year, and it's only on the first $14,000 of their pension. And there are many that, in fact, do not even make that much. So on average, we're talking about less than $300 more per year per retiree. And he makes the point that food, gas, electricity, and our real estate taxes in the city of Gloucester on an average home have all gone up by clearly more than $300 a year. Jeff expresses his awareness of the short and long-term impact that this has on meeting our total pension liability from the city's point of view on the other side, but with 5.5 million in free cash left over from the last administration and 4.3 million left over in the last fiscal year, 23.4 million in ARPA funds and a 2.3 million more in state funds for education. Jeff believes that this is something that the city of Gloucester can afford, and that a 2% cost of living adjustment is at the very least that we can do to help our retirees. So that's his input. Anything else? In that case, I would go ahead and read the Budget and Finance Committee's recommendation, which is to recommend that the City Council approve a one-time additional 2% cost of living adjustment, or COLA, pursuant to Chapter 269 of the Acts of 2022, from a maximum 3% to 5% of the COLA base. And I so move.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? No. We have gotten obviously a lot of input and letters in support of this from a wide range of city employees. And it's always nice to hear from them.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard from Carol Gray recently, from the library director, and she weighed in along with a lot of others. So that being said, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 2 in favor and 1 absent. Excuse me. Okay. Now we're back. Oh, we should go right back to the top of our agenda. I neglected to fully state when we started that this is what I did describe this as a physical and hybrid Zoom meeting. And if people wish to call in on a phone, they can press *9 to speak. And if they're watching on a computer or a device, there's a raised hand button. Tap to press or press to request to speak. And please use either of these options if you wish to be recognized. The first item on our agenda for this evening, going back to the beginning, is a memorandum from the Health Department requesting our acceptance of a donation to the Massachusetts Community Health and Healthy Aging Grant in the amount of $1,000. Who's here to speak to that? Rosalie, welcome. Thank you.
So do you want me to explain what this is?
That would be really great.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
again, my name is Rosalina Castro. A lot of people know me as a food inspector. I was a food inspector for a lot of years. And when I retired, my boss said to me, we have a job for you, and it was made for you, and it's running the Seniors on the Go bus. So I'm the assistant program manager for the Seniors on the Go bus. I have 20 to 30 people that go on my bus on a regular basis. We have a weekly schedule. On Monday, we have a mystery trip once a week. On Tuesday, when the weather's good, we take the seniors walking the boulevard. On Wednesday, we go to early grocery shopping. We're we pick them up early, like at 8 o'clock. We're home by 9:30. We just go to one store, Market Basket. And then on Thursday, we go to all the grocery stores so that people have their choice on where they want to go. And then on Friday, right now, we're not doing anything, but in the summertime, we went to the farmer's market, or we went to Marshall's Farm Stand, local fish store. And once a month, we go to the Mobile Mart, which is tomorrow at the senior center, where the open door is there and they get free groceries. So we have a busy schedule, and we rent a bus and a bus driver from CADA. We pick the seniors up at their house and we drop them off at their door. So the seniors are always asking me if we can go out for lunch, because a lot of them are older and they don't like to cook. And I can't spend any of my grant money, it's a grant funded program, on food. So I applied for Awesome Gloucester and I did not get that. I applied for that in December, I didn't get it, but I
Not
applied.
this round.
But I did apply in January, they invited me back and they gave me that. So I did get $1,000 from Austin Gloucester. But when I got refused, the health director, Mary Ellen Rose, felt so bad. She found an anonymous donor and he or she donated $1,000. So that's the $1,000 we're talking about today.
Excellent.
So that $1,000 has to go through the city. The Austin Gloucester money was cash that was given to me because I applied for that. So I have that money. And what I plan to do with that is I'm taking them for Chinese food next month. I'm going to take pictures of everywhere we go and have receipts, because I feel guilty about having their money in my pocket. So I'm going to show them exactly where I spent the money. But with this money, I'll have to have a PO system so the city will know exactly what I did with the money. So that's it.
I think you're the one we should probably come to for a citizen survey of the markets in town. If you're doing Shaw's Stop and
Well, I'll
Shop.
tell you, now that you
Market
said
Basket.
that, I don't know if I can say this, but they prefer to go to Market Basket because they don't like the digital coupons. And
That's what
Stop
that
and
was
Shop
for.
has them and Shaw's has them. And I went to management and I talked to management and, you know, they can't do anything. But they don't care for the digital coupons, where Market Basket, there's no coupons.
In the prices.
Yeah,
I've heard other people the same concern.
Stop and Shop will take paper coupons.
but some of them are digital. It says it on the flyer, it has to be digital.
Oh,
And when
okay.
I go there, I'll say, wait a minute, that was supposed to be $2 because I had the
Yeah.
digital coupon. They say, yeah, it'll happen in the end. Then it doesn't happen in the end. You say, what happened? It didn't happen. Oh, sorry. So you don't get any discount. But I don't want, you know, just lower the prices, forget about. all
I'm glad
that.
you're helping to get those folks out and about, and
Yeah,
I'm sure they
That's fantastic.
cherish it very, very
they
much.
love it. I have 20 to 30 people that are on the bus, you know, they fluctuate. And they have a good time. We've taken them to Cape Air Museum. We've taken, they love to go to, on our mystery trip, they go to job lots, Henry's Market, Walmart. We go different places, you know, and they love it. They
Good
love
for
it.
you.
And then at Christmas time, we went to see Christmas lights, and that was at night, and they sang Christmas carols and they bonded and they share cookie recipe. It's really a fun job. I'm really enjoying it. And unfortunately, my grant comes to an end in June, but I've been invited by the mayor to come in and show him all my figures and maybe we can do something. So I'm getting all those figures ready, and I'm gonna go talk to Greg
Well,
about.
that's encouraging, and thanks to Mary Ellen for her contribution.
Mary Ellen Rose is the one who got the anonymous, this $1,000, and I thank the donor also. I don't know who it is, but thank you to both of them.
Good for you for pitching Awesome Gloucester as well.
Yep,
So,
yep.
excellent.
The money goes fast though. I
Oh, yeah.
I mean, to feed 25 people, Chinese food's gonna cost me like $400.
Yeah.
But I'll spend it wisely.
I trust you to do
I'm very
that.
frugal.
I'll go ahead and read the motion. The questions or discussion for Rosalie? I would move that Budget and Finance recommends that the City Council accept a cash donation under Mass General Law 4453A, an anonymous donation to supplement the efforts of the Massachusetts Health and Safety Aging Grant for a total donation amount of $1,000 for the project of Cape Ann Seniors on the Go. And I so move.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 2 in favor, 1 absent.
Mosley left no room for questions.
That was a thorough presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm passionate about my job and you can see it.
Good
Thank you
job.
very much.
Thank you.
Very, very
Thank you
much.
all. Thank you. God bless you all.
Right, safe.
Yeah, watch out for the ice
I
outside.
know, it's slippery.
Getting there. I have to say that before our budget meeting this evening, all I could think of was our snow and ice.
I just pulled up the account myself.
Ah,
Well, look, tonight's bills haven't been paid.
not yet.
No.
So the second item on our Budget and Finance agenda this evening is a memorandum from our city engineer, which would be Ryan Marcus, requesting acceptance of a grant for the dam levee and seawall repair and removal grant in the amount of $99,000. And David, are you speaking to that or?
Dana. Yeah. Hi, this is Dana. I'm going to
Welcome.
speak on behalf of Ryan this evening. The city was awarded a grant for the stabilization of the soils at the Haskell Dam. There's lead contamination from the previous shooting range at the site. We're working with a consultant, Pear Corporation. They've got a licensed site professional that helped us develop the grant application, and they'll be monitoring all the work and assuring, appropriate soil testing will be done. But it really involves stabilization of the existing soil, removal of any contaminated soil, and then some surface restoration.
We've done prior restoration in this dam area, I believe, that with the sluice way and growth on the dam.
Correct. This is
Is
just in relation to the shooting range contamination.
and that use has been discontinued now for a few, briefly restarted, but then that was a trial basis. So it's existing lead contamination and other earthen issues that you have to deal with from a contamination point of view.
Correct.
There's a cost to everything, even shooting bullets against the wall. Tony, you have any questions?
No,
Dan?
the grant is pretty comprehensive. So, no, and it sort of answered all the questions of what you were going to, how you were going to handle this, and that we have that outside group that's going to shepherd it through. And as I understand it, they're going to do inspections and things during the progress of the project.
Correct. The LSP will likely be on site for all or most of the work.
Where, do you know where they take any material from the site that has lead contamination or other issues, or is that just, did they take care of that?
I do not know, but I do know included in this project amount, it's disposal is included. So I'm not exactly sure where they accept that material.
I don't have any other questions yourself, no? Thank you, Dana. So
Yep.
I'll go. and read
I'm
the-
also next.
Yeah, we won't let you go far. I would move for Budget and Finance to recommend to the City Council that we accept a state grant under Mass General Law 4453A from the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs, a dam and seawall repair or removal program grant in the amount of $99,000 for the purpose of completing the necessary design work and filing permits needed to remediate the former shooting range at the site of the Haskell Pond Dam. The grant period is from January 30th, 2023 through June 30th, 2023, and there is no local match required. And I so move.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
So 2 in favor and 1 absent. And then moving right along, Dana, next item on our agenda, item number 3 is a memorandum from the environmental engineer requesting acceptance of a GAP gap-free grant in the amount of $80,203 and a nickel.
Yeah, so this is a grant program. Actually, Gemma Wilkins, who's with you in person tonight, really assisted in the generation of this grant application. She was great help to us. Money coming from Mass DEP through DOER and their Clean Energy Results Program, CERP. There was an analysis of our electrical usage for some of our drinking water facilities, and we identified 2 pump stations, the Haskell pump station that pumps raw water from Haskell Reservoir to our treatment plant, and the Wallace pump station that pumps from our Wallace Reservoir to the treatment plant. And the scope of this grant includes replacing motors for the pumps at each of those pump stations, installing variable frequency drives, which help reduce and optimize our energy efficiency for those motors. And then the controls and programming work that would coincide for those replacements.
Sounds like a great update to those vital infrastructure facilities. Tony, Councilor Gross.
So this is just the motors, not the pump, obviously, the way I read this, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, and there'll be the VFDs are going to, are they new? Did it just have on-off start?
Correct. There's 2 pumps at our Haskell pump station and 1 at the Wallace pump station, and none of the 3 existing pumps have VFDs.
Yeah, that'll be a
A variable speed drive motor is so much more efficient, especially
variable
with
frequency, so
Yeah.
it's how it starts up.
starting up slowly, fading.
Yeah, so you know, big inrush, which is where a lot of your electricity goes.
Yep.
Start them. That's it. I got no other questions. Like, again, well written, so we know what it is. Good job. Both of
Thank you, Gemma. Thank you, Dana. Reading the motion, Budget and Finance moves to recommend that the City Council accept a state grant under Mass General Law 4453A, a gap-free grant for municipal drinking water and or wastewater facilities from the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection, Mass DEP, through Mass DEP's Clean Energy Results Program, CERP, with the support of the Department of Energy Resources, DOER, in the amount of $80,203.05 for the purpose of funding 2 projects in an effort to improve energy efficiency measures in the city's drinking water facilities. There is a local match of $19,084.95, and I so move.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion, questions? Seeing none. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 2 in favor, 1 absent. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The next item, number 4 on our agenda tonight, is memorandum from the Assistant DPW Director. Hi, Mark.
How you doing?
Requesting acceptance of a Mass Department of Environmental Protection Recycling Dividends Grant in the amount of $16,800. What are we doing to warrant this, and where does it go?
There's a whole checklist of items that get you points. And the money, we use the money for some of our recycling programs, like the get rid of the tires. We're going to be using some of it on the new mattress and textile program that's out there now. There's a whole lot more mattresses out there that than we anticipated. A good chunk of that will go towards covering that this year. But if you go through the packet, there's a whole litany of different things that communities can do. We do a lot of them. We just don't do them as often as they want you to in here. Like the household hazardous waste, you can get points if you do it a half a dozen times a year. And I mean, we do it the one time. It's easier to just do the collection one weekend. But there's other things like the compost. They want the compost site open for a minimum of 20 weeks and our permit doesn't allow that. So there's things in there. We pretty much max out what we can get for points. And we've gotten this grant for several years now.
Great. All good stuff. Councilor Gross, questions?
No, again, self-explanatory.
Yeah.
It's, how are you gonna roll out the textile? Are you gonna have like a day for pickup? Or are you gonna have drop off?
We're not sure yet how we're gonna handle that. We're trying to get the mattresses under control first, and then we'll branch out. And because you can call, there's a couple numbers on the website you can call, and they will come right to your house and pick it up. And there might be a small fee attached to that. But we wanted to get the mattresses because there's a lot more mattresses than we anticipated. So we want to get that under control, and then we'll branch out a little bit.
It's great that the city is able to offer, with the support of this grant, those kinds of services so that people don't feel tempted to dispose of them otherwise in inappropriate ways. Kudos. If there are no further questions, I would make the motion to recommend the Budget and Finance recommends that the City Council accept under Mass General Law, Chapter 4453A, a state recycling dividends program grant under the Sustainable Materials Recovery Program from the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection, Mass DEP, for $16,800 for the purpose of enhancing the City of Gloucester's waste reduction programs. The grant has no match, and unused funds may be rolled over into future fiscal years, and I so move.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Is there any further discussion or questions? No. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, guys.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 2 in favor, 1 Councilor Worthley absent.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mark. Carry on.
All right, have a good night.
You're dope.
Item number 5 on our agenda this evening is a memorandum from the Community Development Director. Welcome, David Fields.
Evening.
Requesting acceptance of the Massachusetts Cultural Council Grant Award, both for Rocky Neck Cultural District in the amount of $15,000 and for the Harbor Town Cultural District also in the amount of $15,000.
All right, thanks for having me. So this grant has been applied for over the last few years. It's Cultural Districts Initiative sponsored by Mass Cultural Council. The money is distributed to each cultural district respectively for basically programmatic improvements through the executive director and their boards, if they should have some, to kind of make their programs more robust, fill out the cultural districts. As you know, we're still working on Harbor Town, trying to get it up and running and reinvigorated. So a lot of this money can do some really good work there. It also goes to support, summer programming events such as they are throughout the summer. So it's a good program. There's no match, and it's money well spent.
We've gotten some good mileage in the past, and
Yeah.
as you say, the Harbor Town District initially had some momentum behind it, and that's fallen by the wayside to a certain extent. But these are wonderful programs that we can take advantage of during the summer months in our cultural districts, and we're proud to have 2.
Yes,
In
one of the only
Gloucester.
communities.
Yes. Any other question?
No.
I would move that Budget and Finance Committee recommend that the City Council accept a state grant under Mass General Law 4453A from Massachusetts Cultural Council for a fiscal year 2023 Cultural District Initiative Grant in the amount of $15,000 for the purpose of supporting the Rocky Neck Cultural District and financial assistance to support personnel, marketing, artist stipends, and free public transportation for summer Thursday evening cultural experiences located in the Rocky Neck Cultural District and Downtown Harbor Town Cultural District. The grant period of the grant is from July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023, and there is no local match for the grant. And I so move.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion, question?
The start date seems like, did we get this grant late or were we late acting on it? No.
No, that's the state's timeline.
So they came in at this time and.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And we
And they
just,
e-
need you to spend it because it's in their fiscal year.
Yes.
and we just plan accordingly.
Yes.
Right, yeah. Yes, not a problem.
Yep.
Just one.
Okay. Yeah.
Happily say thank you very much.
So we just would need to vote on that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 2 in favor, 1 absent. And then the second half of this is the same thing again, for the other $15,000, I guess. And I would move to recommend that the Budget and Finance Committee recommend to the City Council that we accept a state grant under Mass General Law 4453A from the Massachusetts Cultural Council for a fiscal year 2023 Cultural District Initiative Grant in the amount of $15,000 for the purpose of supporting the Gloucester's Downtown Harbor Town Cultural District and financial assistance to partner with the Rocky Neck Cultural District to plan and market Thursday evening cultural experiences this summer, highlighting the numerous cultural assets in the Downtown Harbor Town Cultural District and the Rocky Neck Cultural District. The grant period of the grant is from July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023, and there is no local match for this grant, and I so move.
Second.
Without any further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's easy. Motion passes 2 in favor, 1 absent. Next, item number 6 on our agenda is the memorandum from the Community Development Director, David again, regarding the application to the Department of Energy's Renew America's School Grant. And this is for information purposes only, is that correct?
That's correct. We can speak to it if you'd like.
Yes, please.
Sure. So it's, as you mentioned, a grant from the Department of Energy. Gemma Wilkins, who's here this evening, has been working on this quite a bit. It was a lot to pull off to get this expression of interest is really what it is at this point in, but I'll turn it over to Gemma to fill you in on the specifics.
Yes, so we essentially are submitting an expression of interest to remain eligible to apply for the grant if we want to. But we worked with the superintendent of schools and with DPW to bring in a vendor to a national grid to sort of scope out and identify some general needs and get a sense of what it would cost. So what our expression of interest outlined was a $10 million project at the high school that would involve electrification of the heating system, weatherization, updating the control system to be an electric system, and several other sort of associated projects.
What would the time frame be of that process?
So the grant would be due. So they would essentially what the expression of interest does is we get notified by the Department of Energy as to whether or not they think it's a good enough project for us to apply for the whole kit and caboodle, and we would get notified in April, and then we'd have a month to actually submit the full application. And then if we were awarded, it would be 5 years to actually implement the project.
It's a potentially substantial boost.
Yes, it would be a significant project and definitely would require, right now we're at the phase of an expression of interest and we have sort of a broad idea of some good projects based on, working with DPW, working with the schools. But the application, if we're invited to or recommended to continue to apply, would require, a lot more exploratory work before we apply, and then a lot more engineering after we apply to actually implement.
But I think the potential is there for a sizable retrofit, which would be very beneficial, especially given that it wouldn't be on our dime.
So would you, assuming these would probably be rooftop units?
So it would actually be air to water system. and
Right, I
the
saw
units
that.
would sit inside of the.
So is it hydronic now? The system is water now,
Yes, it's a
boiler?
previously steam boilers that were converted to gas. And they're
Oh, they're probably still steam.
they were converted to operate on gas, as I understand it.
Right.
And they're really, in need of an update. So if they're updated in kind, it would, be potentially a missed opportunity to look at electrifying. So the timing is right to kind of see what is available in terms of grant funding, especially with, the Inflation Reduction Act that's coming down the line. There's money available if you're looking to do something in the realm of electrification, energy efficiency.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be a whole bunch of individual heat pumps sitting outside the, that would be, like I
No,
said, probably be rooftop units rather, or would they be, because they'd have to, somewhere you have to go air to water, so.
Oh, yes, I see what you mean. The actual, yes, I believe so, that they would be
Yeah.
rooftop units, although, as I said, right now we're in the sort of concept phase, so there's a lot more engineering to be done in terms of, what
Right, yeah.
that piece would look like.
No, this is great.
Mhm.
This is great because it, just the system itself, reduces the amount of energy that's required tremendously, So it's good.
That's,
Good job.
Hopefully this groundwork that you're laying will be fruitful.
Yeah, good luck. We looking forward to hearing a success story in April.
Sounds like an ambitious ask with potential great benefit. Yeah. So thank you for that update and information. And
So is there a certain amount of money that's, is it 500 million to the entire country?
Let me see, I have a total. It's 80 million available
In Massachusetts,
in the entire country.
in the entire country, so this is highly competitive.
Yes, so it's quite a competitive grant. And it's also, one of the thinking in terms of going down this road and doing it on such a fast turnaround time, which thanks to DPW and the schools for kind
Right.
of playing along.
You get ahead of the competition.
Right, and also to, sort of start to figure out with, potentially more federal money coming, what is the process gonna look like?
Hmm.
So that was another piece of wanting to try and pull this off.
So do we need any help from our federal legislators
If we get a thumbs up back, yes, we may.
or even before that to get the thumbs up?
We could certainly reach out.
Well, you don't need to, that's what politicians are for.
and if the city council could do anything in terms of letters or requests supporting your application and request to be considered to,
Or individually.
or individual.
Much appreciated.
Always know that we're here, trying to help you get done what you're trying to get done.
Good, thank you.
Moving from the school's energy efficiency and electrification, we're now looking at pumping out some of the vessels in our harbor. The one thing about budget and finance is the diversity of topics that we consider here, from dam lead remediation to this. But the harbor master typically receives funding each year to help support our pumping station here at the harbor master's office. So is TJ on board, or who's?
Excuse me, Chad was supposed to be here, but I don't see him on. Oh, no. No.
Well, they want me to talk to her.
So you can talk.
Yeah.
I would request that Councilor Gross fill us in on
Thank
it.
you, guys.
It's a recurring grant.
Yeah, it is, and this is for, the vessel that we use and
The offshore,
right here locally, we go and
I'm sorry, onshore.
onshore, yeah, we pump out, the sewage holding tanks of the boats when they come in and particularly our visitors, but also locals And we also here right here, we have a pump station that they can pull up to. Also, if they want to, if they don't want to wait for the boat, if that's busy. And there's a 50-50 match, but we match it in kind with our salaried employees. So we absorb it through that, but it's, you know, while they're on the boat, they're also keeping an eye on several other things. So they're you know, it's a multitask. It's not just that they're dedicated to pumping, you know, obviously they are when they're pumping out, they gotta pay attention when they're pumping out, but if they're here and available for other stuff, it's just that they're not tied up all the time for this task. So it's a great program. And that's it. I don't know what else. Is there any other questions? Did I describe it at all?
You did good, and it's certainly familiar to me over the years.
Yeah, because it comes every year. We get this.
The amounts vary also as well, like anyway, from 9,000, I think we received 15,000 at one point.
Yeah.
So back to 11.
For 11, today's proposal.
Yep.
I'd go ahead and make the motion to recommend the Budget and Finance Committee recommend to the City Council that we accept a federal grant under Mass General Law 4453A, a Clean Vessel Act pump out boat grant for $11,000 from the U.S. Department of Interior, passed through the Massachusetts Division of Marine Fisheries. And this is for the purpose of servicing resident and transient boaters of the city for the disposal of sewerage from vessel holding tanks, portable toilets, and shoreside pump out facility. The grant period is from January 30th, 2023 through December 31st, 2023, and there is in-kind match in the form of payroll expenses. And I so move.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any other further discussion or details?
Good job presenting the grant.
Yeah, thank you very much. Rising to the occasion. We won't flush you down the toilet for that way.
Aye.
Thank you. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 2 in favor and 1 absent. And then we have, again, from the Harbor Master, 2023 essay number 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21, totaling a total dollar amount of $118,667.
I guess we have to take them all individual. Still nobody here, huh? I mean, since I've worked on these in past years, I can just, you know.
Yeah, I mean, this
the
is
same
just,
thing
this
over
is
and
just the
over.
timing that comes up each year.
Yeah,
So transfers to, you know, particular expenditure accounts within the Waterways Enterprise Fund, and then a transfer of essentially the balance. to
Right.
the stabilization fund. Yep.
yeah. I mean, I can just give a little,
Sure.
you know, as we,
You want to go start? I'll start through them.
yeah.
The first item under this matter, number 2023 SA number 15. I would move to recommend that the City Council approve a supplemental appropriation 2023 SA 15 in the amount of $25,000 from the Waterways Enterprise Fund, undesignated fund balance retained earnings. Account number is noted to the Waterways Enterprise Fund, salary and wages temporary account number is noted. And this is for the purpose of funding temporary wages for the highly anticipated incoming second launch, Gloucester Harbor. And I so move and turn it to Tony or whoever, for discussion.
So, yeah, well, not only, we also have the new boat that's coming, so there's gonna be training that's gonna need to be done there, so. And there's, we're gonna have the 400th this year, so the first half of the year is gonna be requiring a little bit more manpower on the water, for June. And, so that's, and probably covering a little bit of, short, you know, like it says, shortfall that is predictable.
Mhm.
That's it.
We're adding 2 new boats, basically,
We're adding 2 new boats, yes, and gonna retire 1 boat.
eventually, yeah.
Yeah.
If there's no further discussion, I don't have any questions myself. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Vote passes 2 in favor, 1 Councilor Worthley absent. Moving on, the next item from the Harbor Master is a 2023 SA number 16. And I'll read the motion to recommend that the City Council approve supplemental appropriation 2023 SA 16 in the amount of $19,000 from the Waterways Enterprise Fund, undesignated fund balance, retained earnings, account number is noted, to the Waterways Enterprise Fund purchase of services, account number is noted, for the purpose of purchasing public landing signage and repairing electrical service to the dock due to storm damage. And I so move.
Second.
Motion moved and seconded. Discussion, detail.
Well,
Which storm hit us worse?
it was the,
New Year's Eve,
no,
the wind event, or
was it New Year?
no, Christmas Eve, day before Christmas Eve.
Was it Christmas Eve?
That was weird direction.
It was the last one that came through that flooded at 4C2, I think.
Yep.
Or was it the one before? Because there was two like that were just weeks apart. But anyway, the first part of this is public landing signings. Signage is, there's required signage that needs to be put here. And I know at the other public landings, there's some signage that's going to be put up regarding parking limitations and stuff that are required at the public landings with launch ramps. So I think that those will be getting some additional signage there. But I know this place needs significant amount of signage that hasn't been put up since it was installed, and that's required. The storm damage was that the ramp snapped the pin. It's kind of like tinsel that it swivels on, and that snapped on the extreme high tide. And then it was an 85-foot ADA ramp, so it's very, very heavy. And to get it back, they had to go get it come along. And I just happened to stop by here and witnessed it all. And the conduit runs right underneath. So as the surge was lifting and dropping, it came down and it broke the conduit. So you obviously have to, didn't break the wire, but you have to disconnect the wire at the terminal, pull it through, connect, repair all the conduit, and then run it back through again. So that's what that damage was right out here, that it broke right under the ramp, you know, when it was free, before they got it back far enough to get it away from, but not too far to pull the cords out. It was.
So the wind was an unusual direction, and
It's been more common.
flood tide,
It's
and
been more common.
this is an exposed location.
At Southerly, we've been getting on an awful lot more than we ever did before historically. So I think it's part of the climate change that Gloucester's gonna, you know, we were so well protected from northeasters, but southerly and southeast, you know, this area of the Inner Harbor takes kind of a beating.
Yes, it does. Challenging.
Yeah.
So the motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes 2 in favor, 1 Councilor Wordley absent. Next item, 2023 SA 17. I would move to recommend that the City Council approve supplemental appropriation 2023 SA 17 in the amount of $20,200 from the Waterways Enterprise Fund undesignated fund balance, retained earnings to the account number as noted, to the Waterways Enterprise Fund repair and maintenance, boat and marine maintenance account number as noted, for the purpose of repairing and upgrading the 23-foot Parker electronics and hull, and repair and maintenance of the Catholic pile protection. We don't want this eroding on us.
Right,
Electrolysis.
right. And that was also part of the storm damage.
So I would make
Protection.
the motion. You second it.
Yep, second.
Further discussion.
Sorry.
Yep.
Second. So yes, and you know, the Parker is getting up there in age, so this is a normal refurbish and upgrade of the electronics on it, because, you know, after electronics, they live in a harsh environment on open boats, and you do have to replace them every so often. More often than you'd like to, I know. Owning several boats.
But the department's doing a good job
Yeah.
under TJ and Chad's leadership, maintaining these assets and having them available for reliable service in the summertime particularly. Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 2 in favor, 1, Councillor Worthley absent. And moving right along, 2023 SA 18, I would move to recommend City Council approve supplemental appropriation 2023 SA 18 in the amount of $5,000 from the Waterways Enterprise Fund, undesignated fund balance retained earnings, account number is noted, to the Waterways Enterprise Fund, marine supplies, account number is noted, and this is for the purpose of purchasing marine supplies to outfit the new launch and patrol boat, including life rings, mooring lines, and fenders, and I so move.
Second,
Motion is made and seconded. Further discussion?
self-explanatory.
I think so. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 2 in favor, 1, Councillor Worthley absent. SA 19, I would move to recommend that the City Council approve supplemental appropriation 2023 SA 19 in the amount of $5,000 from Waterways Enterprise Fund, undesignated fund balance retained earnings. Account number is noted, to the Waterways Enterprise Fund, motor gas and oil, account number as noted. And this is for the purpose of supplementing the Waterways motor gas and oil account due to the increase of gas prices, which we all are familiar with. And I so move.
Second,
Self-explanatory.
Surprised it's not higher.
Maybe it's beginning to come down, but you know,
it also only has to cover the last month.
Yeah.
under the current
Part of May,
current fiscal
part of
year.
May, and then June.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, a motion passes on a vote of 2 in favor and 1 absent, Councillor Worthley. Item number 2023 SA 20, I would move to recommend the City Council approve a supplemental appropriation 2023 SA 20 in the amount of $2,000 from the Waterways Fund, Enterprise Fund, undesignated fund balance retained earnings, account number as noted, to the Waterways Enterprise Fund uniforms, account number is noted for the purpose of purchasing uniforms and safety gear for new hires, and I so move.
Second.
Again, I think we're just gearing up for the summer season,
Yeah.
staffing and making sure everybody looks shipshape and professional
Yep.
on the Harbor Masters crew. Motion is made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes 2 in favor, 1, Councillor Worthley absent.
Excuse me, Councillor Memhard, it looks like he's connecting right now.
Great.
There he is.
There we are.
There it is.
Were you successful at the Traffic Commission, or is that a longer story than we want to hear?
It's a longer story than you want to hear. It was helpful, but ways to go. Miles to go before we rest. Is that the right phrase?
That's
we
one of the phrases.
Right.
Walking by
Good
the
evening,
window
everyone.
all evening.
I'm sorry to be coming in as late as I am.
Yeah, well, we understand that you had a busy evening with your other commitment there. We have moved right along. I read your statement at the very beginning, or a good portion of it. It echoed a number of other comments that had been made regarding the COLA increase, which was approved unanimously. And we're working through the Harbor Masters requests for transfers, and then we have a few items left that you can help us with. So
Okay,
welcome.
thank you. Appreciate it. Hello, Tony.
So I would move to recommend that the City Council approve a supplemental appropriation 2023 SA 21 in the amount of $42,467 from the Waterways Enterprise Fund, undesignated fund balance retained earnings or free cash, account number as noted, to the Waterways General Stabilization Fund, transfers from Enterprise Fund, account number as noted. This is for the purpose of transferring the remaining retained earnings to the Waterways General Stabilization account, and I so move.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion, questions?
That account's getting healthy.
Yeah, actually, I was just looking, that's not the right amount.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not, yeah.
I
it's
thought
not
that was
12.
kind of high.
No, it's actually 105,136.
Well, that's higher.
No, lower.
No, it's,
Yeah, 200.
if you remember, they replaced the motor in the Glosterman, and then they
Yes,
used a
indeed.
portion of it as well to fund the budget.
So it's 105.
What, I have 105,136.
105.
With this
Okay.
42,000, if it's approved.
Adding,
Yeah.
With this 40.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's 50 something now.
Yeah, it was 62,669.
Okay.
Would you like me to reread that motion or? would you
No,
like-
No, the
motion's good.
motion's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, motion's good.
Thank you.
Yep.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Councilor Worthley?
Roll call.
I was just going to say, if there's any discussion before I came on this issue, I'd vote present. If you had already talked
Got
about
the
it.
whole thing.
Okay. Then I'd be happy to vote for it.
As Councilor Worthley is currently joining us remotely via Zoom, we need to do a roll call vote on this now going forward. So I'll do that roll call vote. Councilor Gross,
Yes.
Councilor Worthley,
Yes.
Councilor Memhard, yes. So the vote is 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Let's see.
Should do 11 first.
You want me to do 11 before 9 and 10?
We did.
We've already did 10, so 11 and then 9.
Okay, thank you. Hi, Elise. Item number 11 before us on our agenda this evening is a memorandum from our Director of Elder Services, Elise Sinagra, requesting acceptance of a state formula grant in the amount of $128,520. Elise, do you want to give us some background on this, please?
Yeah, so the formula grant is a grant that, that we get every year. It's based on our census and it's based on a per senior amount. So we get $12 per senior. And this year, because it was based on new census figures, we had went through our budgeting process based on the old figure. And then when the new census figures were released and the state gave us a new formula grant, we kind of had some found money. And working closely with the mayor's office, we decided, because that's going to be the new amount going forward. So we decided that we had a good plan in place to get another, to get a position transitioned over from a social work position to a full-time activities and volunteer coordinator position. And the long and short of it is that that formula grant money will free up about $35,000 as it indicates in the packet. And working closely with the mayor's office and with John Dunn, we kind of formulated a plan to have that money kind of backfill some of the amount of salary that had come out of general fund traditionally. And that frees up some money then that we're hoping can be transferred over for me to be able to use for some building improvements, not the type of improvements that would be DPW type stuff. We're space constrained very much so at the senior center. We find that we could do a lot more sometimes if we had more spaces that had more flexibility to them. And one of the rooms there at the senior center is our used to be a technology classroom where we had tethered PCs, desktop machines, kind of tethered in position in rows in a classroom setting. And we really don't even teach that way anymore because of such a diversity of devices and where seniors are at with their technology capabilities. We don't really find our volunteer tech instructor team doesn't find that it makes any sense. They don't really have the ability to see people with the same need at the same learning level at the same time, kind of in that old classroom model. So what they do now is they teach people one-on-one. And they provided instruction to an architect who was nice enough, as a thank you to that team, he had submitted what he thought would be a great way to use that room that would make it a multi-purpose room. And he did up all the architectural drawings and everything, even going so far as to recommend kind of modular stackable furniture. And so the tech team worked closely with him. We've been, working with our own IT team to see what should go in there for technology. We kind of have a plan in place for drastic re-envisioning of that room. And we're hoping that this funding is going to enable that. And then we're going to have some additional leftover for some kind of other here and there type needs that we have around the interior of the building. But the big project that we're hoping, that this will enable is to make a space that was unusable because it sat there kind of like a Jurassic Park of computers, because we just don't teach that way anymore. And now we'll be able to have this new space that'll be able to be for lectures, for yoga, for classroom instruction, because everything will be so flexible.
Great.
So that's what we're hoping to do with it.
Thank you, Elise. Councilor, questions?
Just a comment.
Comment, Council Worthy?
Okay, so first, Elise, I think what you're gonna do with the money is remarkable. You probably had nothing to do with the aging population aging, but you said 35,000, it's actually about 40,000 more, and it really says that our seniors our numbers of seniors are growing. That's 3,000 or so, 3,300 more. So I just want to draw attention. I hope that this is enough money to provide the services that you expect to deliver, but I think we should just all be paying attention that this could be an increasing need as time goes by. So good luck with what you're going to use that new money for, and I'll be happy to
Yeah.
support this motion.
Thank you, Council Worthley. And you bring up a great point is that, and in that census going up, there will be an increased need. And now that we know that we can budget for that formula grant amount, going forward, and actually Governor Healy has requested that the per senior amount go up to $14. We don't know what the legislature will do with that yet, but we know that we know that it's at least going to stay at the amount that we got this year. It's just that this year we hadn't anticipated it. So we have this money to kind of spend on this other need, which is going to really, really provide a drastic improvement in the quality of what we can provide down there. So yeah, thank
Great.
you.
Thank you.
Elise, what is this census, the 7,400 to the 10,700? What's the span? Is that the 10-year federal census?
Yep, that's the 10-year federal census.
So we'll have a third of our community, or over a third of our community is now senior citizens. And then that number will stay the same until 2030?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
We're quietly aging under the radar.
Some of us more quietly than others. I don't know if I can say that about myself. I try.
It is something, it's interesting that the census that these grants are based upon is only a 10-year event. So
Yeah.
a lot happens.
Yeah, it stays stable for a long time, but it doesn't help in this instance where takes a long time to catch up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we're here, and thank you
Yep.
for that update and report. We've made I guess I'll make the motion now. That Budget and Finance recommends that the City Council accept under Mass General Law 4453A, a Massachusetts State Fiscal Year 2023 Council on Aging Formula Grant allocation from the Massachusetts Executive Office of Elder Affairs in the amount of $128,520. There is no local matching requirement for the state grant, and the grant period is from July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023, and I so move.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion or questions? Seeing none, a roll call vote. Councillor Gross,
Yes.
Councillor Worthley,
Yes, and thank you, Elise.
and Councillor Memhard, yes. Motion passes on a vote of 3 in favor, 0 opposed, unanimous support. So I'm now going to go
Thank
back
you.
to number 9.
Thank you. Have a great night, everyone.
Oh, you're up again.
Oh, I am.
We've got 2023
You already taled about it, but
SBT 10 in the amount of the $35,000.
Oh, okay, right. The first was accepting the grant. Now it's the transfer. Okay, sorry. Yep.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and read the motion, and you can help us you can comment on it, but I move that Budget and Finance recommend that the City Council approve special budgetary transfer 2023 SBT 10 in the amount of $35,000 from the Council on Aging Wages hourly permanent, account number is noted, to Council on Aging Building Improvements, account number as noted, and this is for the purpose of building improvements at the Rose Baker Senior Center through June 30th, 2023, and I so move.
second.
Motion's made and seconded. Do you want to say anything more about that, Elise?
No, I think I kind of hoped I had hoped to cover it in one kind of
You did.
You did.
one comprehensive report.
Great. Councilor, questions, discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote. Councilor Gross,
Yes.
Councilor Worthley,
Yes,
Councilor Memhard, yes. Motion passes 3 in favor, 0 opposed, for unanimous support.
Okay. Now, good night, everybody. Thank you so
Now,
much.
Elise, good night. And item number 12 on our agenda relates to our Veteran Services District Director requested the acceptance of donations in the amount of $1,446. And I would move to recommend that the City Council accept various cash donations under Master General Law 4453A to support our veterans, Cape Ann Veteran Services in the amount of $1,446 from the following members and business partners within our community. And this is including the First Parish Church Congregational, Stop and Shop, and Ed Camo, for a total of $1,446. And I so move.
Second.
Discussion, questions? Adam, is that a new title for Adam, or is that what he, I know that's what he does? District Director?
Oh, he is, because we do.
Yeah. Rockport.
Regional, yeah.
There's a reason.
I like the sound of it.
That was nice, yes.
Yes, sir. Adam. Okay.
I'm sure he likes it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. All right, motion been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Roll call vote. Councillor Gross,
Yes.
Councillor Worthley,
Yes,
Councillor Memhard, yes. Motion passes unanimously. Vote of 3 in favor and 0 opposed. And that just lands us right back with the our city auditor requesting a review of accounts having expenditures exceeding authorization and any other auditors report or related business. And we don't know what the snow cost is yet, but up to
No.
that.
No,
It's moving.
it's moving in the wrong direction.
Well, it always does.
Yeah. So we have 22 accounts this time compared to 17 last time. The total amount has gone up a little over 110,000. Some of the new accounts, police workers comp, they typically have a transfer. We also have a retirement and inspectional services. So there's a retirement, sick leave, buyback in this report. Then we also have some increases in the public health, wages hourly, a small increase. And then now with tonight with the formula grant, we should see the Council on Aging that should clear up those deficits. So on the next report, I expect that to be resolved. And then there is other sick leave buybacks in the retirements in the DPW water and sewer as well. So those are the major differences from the last report. Everything else was previously reported. Unless any councilors have any questions, that's all I have.
Councillor Worthley?
just one question. Thank you, Kenny. The number of accounts on here doesn't matter as much because if you took anyone that's under 1,000, that's gonna take 3 or 4 off the list. So it's the total number that's really matters. The only one that seems a little high without an understanding, and maybe we've discussed this before, is the health department. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I look at the wrong line a second.
Council on Aging.
200.
Oh,
Oh, never mind.
that's-
Sorry,
that's going nice.
Sorry, I thought the health department was $225,000 over.
No.
That was,
They'd like,
never mind. Sorry, I
Yeah,
need my glasses, I think. I'm good. Sorry about that.
no problem. Better to have it cleared up.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if we had a random $225,000 increase in a 5-person staff, it'd be a little surprising. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
over the last 2
With the snow and ice, through the Municipal Modernization Act, I don't know if you remember, years ago, the city council would increase the spending limit, seems like every other meeting. I don't remember, Councilmember, if you remember that.
Mhm.
I know that used to happen quite a bit with Councilor McGeary.
Before my term, but yeah.
And, but now with the Municipal Modernization Act, now the CAO is able now to increase the spending limit. So now I believe we're up to, I think it's 1.1 million at this time. So hopefully we'll see. Hopefully that's enough.
Sufficient.
But after today and I think next Tuesday.
We budgeted what, 777,000?
Yeah. Yeah, and I saw, I mean, as of today, I mean, we're about 40,000 over the entire budget, but that doesn't even include what today's event and next week and whatever's left.
Understood. Winter is not done with us.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of salt going out tomorrow night.
Councilor Worthley?
Yeah, Kenny, did you say, I think I suggested last year, what if we were to when the budget time comes, really put in a higher number for snow and ice. And then if we have a light winter, we have excess. But I think you said if we do that, then we're mandated to keep that amount going forward.
That's correct. So that's, so except for the state in Boston, they can transfer money out of it. So under the law, there's a big except for Boston and the state. So the state, they can budget at a higher amount and then they can transfer. But however, for municipalities, we cannot. So, yeah, other than Boston, right.
So you're saying even if we didn't spend the money, we couldn't transfer it out, and we need to budget that much in the next budget cycle.
Correct, like it essentially you're forming a new base. So once you, because we have, at one point, we did have about 600,000. And that's where we got to the number because we've had this base of 700,000, was it 766?
766.
Yeah. But it used to be a flat amount, about 600,000. So we always, as a committee, we've always struggled about increasing it because once you do, that's the new base and then you have to keep that amount. And the whole snow and ice, I mean, this is something that there's a special report just for it. So that, the state, they are monitoring it. So we can't just, they'll catch it, they'll see it. So.
Have we ever had a year less than 766?
Yes, we have. Yep.
2 times in the last decade.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But again, just about, except for Boston, all 350 other cities and towns basically do it the same way.
Yeah.
As we are. Yep.
Yeah. And I know there's some, they budget like 50,000.
Yeah.
And they know it's $1 million. I believe that's Andover. Andover does that.
No,
But
thanks.
they
I
know.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's good
Thank you.
information.
If there's no other
I'm sorry I
business-
missed most of the meeting tonight. Sounds like you guys did a great job without me. I had no doubt.
We had some interesting items and if you have the opportunity, please do review the Zoom recording.
will. I will.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
Motion is made and seconded. Roll call vote. Councilor Gross.
Yes.
Councilor Worthley.
yes, thank you.
Councilman Hart, yes. Motion to adjourn passed unanimously. Thank you, Sherry.
You're welcome.
Thank you, John. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Kenny.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Night,
Yeah.
Councilor
Night.
Worthley.
Good night.